Hi friends, and this week's episode, we go down to LA to SNL Creative where they make some really awesome 3D printed things. You don't want to miss it. Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Making Things Fun, Cool, and Sexy. I'm your host, Christine Hollino, and today I have a very awesome guest who is making so many fun, cool, and sexy things with 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing. She has manufactured the Wilson Airless Basketball that sold out in 2 hours. She is the California area manager for Women in 3D Printing and has her certification from MIT in innovative product design for additive manufacturing. She is CEO of SNL Creative, a creative design and manufacturing studio in Southern California. Please help me welcome the very amazing and talented Lindsey Zindroski onto the show. Hi, Lindsey.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for hosting me and showing me this awesome space.
Great. I'm stoked to have you here.
Yeah. So you came from a very interesting background. You know, like I came from Hollywood, got into manufacturing. You started in software and now you're in 3D printing. Can you share us your journey?
Sure. Yeah, I worked for an international software company for about 16 years in technical support, deploying large enterprise software systems. And I loved it. It was great. My husband was in additive manufacturing and we had an idea. We wanted to just kind of work on product development together. And additive is such a great place to start that journey, right? And I think it was through developing this product that, I got to see additive manufacturing for the first time and have a product right in my hands, and I think I was just hooked after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like sharing the story of the transition because how can we inspire the next generation to be freely open to changing careers?
I mean, I think that we have to just, stay open and interested and learn, about other things that are going on and have that curious mind and, and pursue what interests us. Look for companies and look for people in the industry and just, go for it, really.
I totally agree. And Shira, how did you start SNL Creative?
So just going back to that transition, it started as a product development company. It was just sort of something that my husband and I had an idea. We wanted to create a toy company, an interactive toy company where you could, build your own toys based on a set of assets, and then that would come to you, in the mail. Really that additive manufacturing value of, customization. And so we built that interface and, bought a PolyJet printer, office printer, easy to use, just to kind of vet the idea. And that's kind of how it all got started. I think organically in 2013, we kind of transitioned into more a service space. We met a lot of people through that, product development cycle and learned a lot about additive manufacturing and the value that it brings and the potential. I think back then, I think that's, 2008, we saw the potential that additive could be a manufacturing source, to put products direct to consumer, right into the consumer's hands. And I think that was really exciting. So, yeah.
Wow. So tell us the process. You say you're a service provider. Mm-hmm. So do you do design, production? What do you do here?
So we can, there's oftentimes we'll get involved in a project at various stages of design, development, even just contract manufacturing. But we have capabilities here to take a product from start to finish, and that is, digital design, prototyping, all the way through end-use manufacturing.
How does it feel when someone or a company comes to you and they have something in mind and then you're able to turn it into a reality?
People are really passionate about their ideas, and that is exciting to get behind, and so, just, I think big ideas are always, exciting, right? It's always interesting. So it feels good. I mean, there's a lot of times where they know where they're headed, and a lot of times they aren't. So I think, it's nice to be able to help them, and they're so grateful. They've got the win, or they put their product into the market, and so you can really build relationships and bond over that process.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, even when it comes to machining, if someone comes to us with their concept and we deliver and it works for them, it is priceless.
Yeah,
that feeling.
Yeah.
And you and I, we met in Women in 3D Printing. I'm an ambassador for Silicon Valley, or a co-ambassador for Silicon Valley. You manage all of us, even though you're super busy with everything.
I wouldn't say manage. I feel like, I started the LA chapter for Women in 3D Printing about 5 years ago, and did that for a while, and then just kind of felt like, it was time to, which I think is important for us all, important philosophy is to just, give somebody else an opportunity to, be in that space and run the chapters, because, it's rewarding and it's fun. So what I really loved about it is making the connection. So I feel like I'm more here in the area and role to empower and support the chapters, and bring my network into the events, and help brainstorm ideas and help you also be successful. That's a great place for me.
The network of people that I've met through 3D or Women in 3D Printing is super valuable. I got to meet you. I've met Melanie Lang, and she's doing big things with metal 3D printing. It's really awesome. The people.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, I think there's an incredible amount of very smart and ambitious women in additive manufacturing. There could always be more, but the organization has been a great place to connect with people and to have real conversations and give each other support, so it's been invaluable. It's a great organization to be part of.
Yeah, and like you said, there are a lot of players in this space.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate yourself, this company, with additive manufacturing?
Essentially we're a service provider, right? But I think that industry has changed so much. So what makes us different is that, we're really looking to provide solutions. Our clients come to us because, they have a product and they need to develop it. And then we are creating solutions for them using additive technologies. It's not transactional. It is, solutions and applications driven. And I also think, we make beautiful products. It's always been sort of our ambition. So, the post-processing side and the finishing side of our business, I think, is exceptional. And you don't have that a lot in other providers that we can we can provide turnkey products.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't realize 3D printing isn't just printing a part and you could deliver. There's a lot of post-processing in the metal industry, in the plastic industry as well. It is pretty extensive, and so you've been in the market long enough, since 2008, correct?
Yeah.
So you have been able to learn what has worked and what doesn't.
Yes.
So I think that you're very valuable in this space because you know what it takes to make a beautiful product.
Thank you. Yeah.
And
it's a lot of trial and error.
Yes.
A lot of experimentation, which makes it fun.
Yeah. Well, that's manufacturing, right?
Yes.
We get to do so much R&D, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So fun. And speaking of beautiful products and fun, cool, and sexy things, you recently printed these Wilson Airless Basketballs.
Yes, those are very fun, very cool, very sexy products. Yeah, I mean, a highlight of my career for sure, for so many reasons. One, you know, we got into this business to make consumer goods and through additive manufacturing. So to see the industry come to a place where, you know, materials and geometry and, you know, clients are forward thinking in that regard is, you know, it's like, it's a dream. It's a dream job now, you know? And just to be part of such an incredible project team, you know, the innovation team at Wilson is just, I mean, incredible. Very smart, very dedicated, good people. You know, from EOS to Dymanson to ALM, it's been, you know, a very collaborative and a wonderful project to be part of.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's a beautiful basketball, and we're going to try to play around with that later after this interview. It is so awesome. And you also print footwear as well, right?
Yeah, we do have a footwear division. We do a lot of footwear. I think, you know, it's been exciting to look at footwear as, you know, a end-use product. You know, it's been done, and there's so much more to explore there. I think, you know, that the consumer, I mean, and designers, right? Designers first, and eventually consumers see a lattice structure as something aesthetically pleasing, you know, as innovative, as futuristic. I mean, that's when you know, we're ready to take on production projects.
Correct. And like the lattice, would that be considered a lattice as well, the basketball?
Oh,
would
yes,
you call
absolutely.
That? Okay. So that is beautiful. And we spoke about this on the phone, where I'm like, wow, you printing that can open up the minds for so much more innovation, right? The first thing that came to mind was like, wow, this is just a basketball. Like, I've seen airless tires like that NASA has created before too. And it's just like, this is a game changer, because now the next generation, even your generation, like, we're able to see how things can be made differently. And I'm super excited.
I mean, credit completely to the Wilson Innovation team on that, but I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's significant, the ball, to be 3D printed, to be manufactured using lattice structures and truly designed for additive manufacturing. And the fact that it will take its place in the history and evolution of, you know, the basketball, I think, is a huge win for additive. And it does open the door to show people that, you know, additive is here. You know, it's working. It has its place, and it can be done.
Correct. It's no longer the future. It is the present.
Yes.
Right, because I even used to say that 3D printing is the future, but it really isn't. It's like the now. It's used in R&D, even with our clients. They have printers to do prototyping and then also production as well. So it's really awesome what can be done with additive manufacturing now.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much, you know, there's so much more to be done, right? So yeah, it feels good to be part of the industry now. I think this is a really exciting time to be part of the industry, and to know that, you know, there's so much more innovation to come, and it moves so fast. You know, when I got involved in additive like 13 years ago, you know, my husband had already been well established in the industry. You know, he's got 25 years in the industry, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to catch up. You know, there's just so much to learn. There's so much to know. You know, and there's so much new technology coming out, right? But I realized that everything happens so fast. The technology happens so fast that you know, I'd probably 10 years ago still be in the same place. You know, it doesn't really put me at a disadvantage, I guess, to not have so much background, because you got to keep up. You got to learn pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and the industry's changed so much, you know, from what it was 20 years ago. I would say it's a new ball game.
It is. But what I see about the manufacturing industry, it's very welcoming, because like you and I, we came from different industries.
Yeah.
And we're able to succeed in this space, right? But obviously with everything, it takes hard work. Like we had to like dive in, learn everything. But once you're in it, there is opportunity in the industry.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of opportunity. I mean, you know, the front of our business, we get to do a lot of the cool stuff. You know, we get to make a lot of the cool products. We get to do a lot of the, you know, sexy fashion and celebrity and, you know, and sporting goods kind of products. But I also think it's just really interesting, you know, where manufacturing is going and the potential for manufacturing and for additive to even just be a supportive player, you know, to be another tool in, you know, the toolbox for other types of manufacturing, and, you know, how together, collaboratively, you know, we innovate manufacturing on a whole. We onshore manufacturing, you know, we build our own products, you know, we evolve with the changing times and needs, you know, whether that be climate change or, you know, supply chain, you know, all of that is important.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that. And, you know, and to stay more relevant, I know that you have also integrated some sustainability into your processes as well.
You know, we do as much as we can, right? We're always looking for sustainable materials. You know, looking at circular design, I think, is really important. You know, having a conscious thought about where the products are going to go, right? And how they're going to be used and what's going to happen after. You know, I think additive inherently has a sustainability element, right? You know, we can reduce inventory, we can, you know, manufacture on demand, you know, but at the end of the day, we're still in the plastics business. So, you know, I think there's work to do there. And we do try and look for materials. I always am, you know, talking to compounders and asking them what their roadmap is and how can we, you know, do better on our plastics production. So interesting to see what will happen with that.
Yeah, and so besides consumer products, you've also have entered like the Hollywood space when you printed the housing for a camera, right? That for Avatar.
Yeah, so a few years back, we had the opportunity to print all the camera housings for James Cameron's crew that would be used in the filming of the Avatar: Way of the Water, and eventually the subsequent movies that will come out, they'll leverage those cameras. So that was, you know, anytime we can make a product and put it out into the world to be used, you know, that's a win. That's a win for us. That's like what we're here to do, and that was also just an incredible team to be part of. You know, just working with I don't think you get any more brilliant in design, in camera design and camera technology than James Cameron's crew.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was a thrilling project. I got to go on sets. That was pretty fun.
That's awesome. So you've done it all. Like you're across a lot of industries.
Yeah. Yes. I think that, you know, that's another benefit of additive is that you can diversify. You know, and that's I think what I like about being a service provider is, you know, I can follow my interests, and when we talk about like transitioning or finding where your passions are, you know, going towards moving towards what interests me and what I think is important. It's a benefit of having your own company, and a benefit of the technology itself because it's so diversified. I think, a lot of people think about Hollywood and 3D printing, and they think about props, and they think about sets, and but there's a lot there's a lot more value that additive can bring. Camera systems for sure. Animatronics. I do a lot of work with, animatronic builders that are eventually used in movies. 3D printed molds in FX. So I think that there's a lot of applications and opportunities there in Hollywood.
Yeah. What other fun, cool, and sexy things have you made?
Oh, well, I think for me right now, shoes are sexy.
Yeah.
Jewelry is sexy. Designers are fun to work with, especially because they're always pushing the envelope. So, footwear has been really something that's been fun to get involved in. We started in toys, and that's still a really strong division for us, and toys are fun too. I think that's probably my biggest flex with the kids is, they're here, we have to bring them to work, but the fact that they think, I make toys, or, that's like probably my biggest flex.
Yeah.
Is all the toy work that we get involved in.
There's so many cool things here, and I can't wait to go on the tour of your lab. So awesome.
Thanks.
I thank you for empowering us as a woman in 3D printing leader. How else do you think that we can inspire more women to get into manufacturing?
I think, as in any industry, we need to provide a good culture, a safe, equitable, supportive culture in order to attract more women. We need to pay them first and foremost. We need to give them the same opportunities. And women in the workforce have needs, that to make them successful. So I think having, seeing some change in how we help women be successful in the workforce, getting rid of a lot of the bias and, the harassment. So I think all of those things will welcome women into the industry. We talk about this a lot too because, we have, women with their doctorates, highly educated women, brilliant women, but also just a lot of, women with good hands-on experience. So, you can really have a variety of talents and find success in additive manufacturing and in manufacturing as well.
Yeah.
So I think, potentially, that may not be known. So hopefully the word gets out.
Yeah. What are some benefits or perks and challenges that you faced as a woman CEO?
I mean, I think probably a lot of the same challenges that every woman faces, in their careers, and that is unconscious bias, being taken seriously, being given opportunity, managing, my work-life integration, being successful at home and taking care of myself, and probably all those same challenges that women have, but I think I almost out of an advantage, right? Because when you work for a company, you don't always have a lot of influence. So I think here at least I can make that change, right? I can have a company that has a culture of work-life integration and balance, empowering the women who work for me, putting them in positions of authority, putting them in management positions, letting them run teams, encouraging them to be leaders. That's probably like the most important thing I do here.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you for doing that, really.
I mean, it's will be done for me in the same way. So I think, success floats all boats, and we rise together. So
exactly. So I'll segue into the last two questions that I always ask every single guest. One is on self-development. I love self-development, and I believe that we have to go through failures in order to become successful.
Yeah.
Is there a failure that you had to deal with and it has shaped you today?
I also think I'm an introspective person. I mean, maybe almost too much, where, you're thinking about everything that happened in a day, you're thinking about every project. And there's failures all the time. I think about, failures that taught me a lesson. And what is that lesson? And how can I be better, do better, be more aware, look out for that in the next opportunity. I think one of the biggest failures that I criticize myself for is where I would say I missed an opportunity. And that's kind of where I can be upset with myself.
Yeah.
But I have a good balance of people around me who make sure that you don't dwell or you don't sit with the failure too long, and that you identify the lesson and then you move on.
Correct. Because I could totally relate. I'm so hard on myself. When I make mistakes, I'm really, really hard on myself. But just like you, I'm also very introspective. So I'll try to look at the bigger picture. I'm like, what did this teach me, and what can I learn from it?
Yes. Yeah.
And where do you see SNL Creative in 5 years?
I think we had a tremendous amount of growth in the last year. We moved into a bigger facility, we expanded our technology, we really got to work on a lot of projects. We have a lot of development projects that are going to be moving into production and coming out, and so it's been exciting. So I think in 5 years I'm hoping to grow the business, and look into other revenue streams and other industries and other applications that I haven't quite yet got to explore. Some of our certifications are on the roadmap for next year. Getting involved more in manufacturing really interests me. So kind of aligning to that overall effort and what kind of role and what kind of influence, I can have, and more importantly, what can I learn, from the greater manufacturing initiative that's happening.
Yeah, I know. It's a big initiative. I'm super excited to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. I look forward to seeing where you'll be in 5 years.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I'm going to come and visit you. And
yes, I would love that.
That would be awesome.
So let's go on a tour of SNL Creative now.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So these are our 260s, smaller printers in this room. This Eden 260 was the very first printer I ever got. I was making my Carbon Kid toys on this. We love the PolyJets because they just high fidelity models. They run very, very fast. And so we're using these really on our prototyping. Prototyping mold masters. We have the 260V, and then we have the Conics, which has the ability to run multi-material. Got a Form Labs is great for concept modeling. There's a lot of a lot of interesting materials that we can run on this machine. So I think Formlab's done a really good job at diversifying their material portfolio, and so we get to do a lot of experimenting and testing out on this printer.
Very cool. So this was your first baby. You started off with just this, and then now you evolved and expanded.
Yeah, have to.
Awesome. All right, let's see what's next.
Okay. Okay, so we also have a Stratasys Fortis 450 MC. This is FDM technology. We have all the licenses, so we can run all of the materials that Stratasys provides, the high heat materials, the Ultim, and on this machine. It's also been retrofitted to run nylon 12 carbon fiber, so we can run composite printing, and this is the printer that we printed all the Avatar cameras on. We made it a nylon 12 carbon fiber, a combination between this machine and our Markforged machines. So we've got Markforged X7 in the corner there, which has been a great machine. This is CFF technology, right? So you have a nylon 6 proprietary onyx material, nylon 6 carbon fiber blend on your outside shell, but you can run continuous carbon fiber on your interior structures of the Markforged. So Kevlar, high heat, fiberglass, carbon fiber. So you really can make a very, very strong part using that machine.
Wow, it's like a little playland here with all of your equipment.
They're fun.
Yeah, they are.
They're fun.
All right.
Okay, this is our EOS P93, our powder bed machine. We are running nylon and elastomer parameter sets on this machine. So really, we are becoming experts in the elastomeric powder materials and developing applications using those materials along with lattice structures. So this is part of our end-use production strategy, and love this machine. Love this machine. Taking the parts out of the powder machine, they come out in a cake, and everything is depowdered in these machines. So you excavate your part out of the powder cake. It has a sifter here, and then you can sift through like your large particle to fine particle powder, and then leverage that for your recycle mix. So it's all done here.
How long does this process usually take?
I think it depends on the geometry, really, or how packed the bed is, how many parts you're pulling out. There's got you kind of get a lot of like little tools, and we hook up our vacuum here to it when it's closed. So it's kind of pulling all the dust away, keeping everything clean.
I've seen videos, and it looks like an archaeologist, sifting through fossils and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying, actually.
I know.
I find a lot of post-process support removal is really satisfying.
Yes, agreed.
Like even the water soluble. Yeah. Because you're just kind of blasting it off, and then something beautiful comes out from under it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
A reveal.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see what's next.
All right. So this is like our larger PolyJet room. We're running the Stratasys J platform with color printing, multi-material on this machine. Has a pretty large platform. I don't think there's anything on there right now. Nope, empty. Would have been cool if there was something on there though, right? So we can do color parts on here. We've been working with colored technology for about 5 years now. So really just kind of pushing the envelope on applications for that and color development, and so a lot of like animation parts, for stop motion animation is made on this printer. So when you think about Square Island, you know, a lot of stuff that Leica Studios in Oregon is doing. This is the printer that they're doing
Got
on.
it.
So,
Okay.
so we've done some of that. In the back is another PolyJet. It's a Connex platform. So that is just running multi-material elastomer and rigid material from Stratasys. This is kind of like our prototyping space here.
Very cool.
Okay, so here's an example of the color printing that we do on our Stratasys machine. That printer, you know, reads graphic, texture, and bitmaps. So you can print textures, graphics, logos, and then PMS color matching. This project is so interesting because, you know, this is one where we worked with a commercial studio, a CG studio, and so the color graphics that we pulled is all from CG, which creates, you know, a level of challenge mapping CG color data into models. So all of this graphic is pulled from a commercial and applied to the model and then printed on the printer. It's quite a large project that we did. There's 10 players in the full set. And we did 32 sets, so 320 characters.
Wow.
320, and an additional 320 platforms. So just a huge job. And then these are commemorative figurines.
It looks like it's painted. I can't believe it's all printed.
Yeah, the quality, the fidelity, the resolution on the Stratasys printer, I mean, is the best in the industry. It's best in class, I think. I did a lot of evaluation on it. I mean, this logo is just
wow,
crazy.
Crazy. The details that you can see. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that means it's like printed so finely in order to get that red to show up. Wow, that's incredible, incredible.
Yeah, so they come off the printer, you know, already with their color and their graphic on them, and you know they are just post-processed and coated here in our studio.
Very cool.
Here's an example of the Airless Gen 1 basketball from Wilson that we produced here in our studio. This is the brown colorway, which is my personal favorite. I think it's came out so beautifully.
How many colors?
3 colorways in this round: black, brown, and the natural.
I hope there's a pink one in stores. Oh my goodness, it bounces like a real basketball. And I could do anything with my nails.